Hey everyone, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer, and welcome back to another video. So there's this Siege YouTuber I watch who I really like to watch. His name is Get Flanked, and taking his advice took me from about low level silver all the way up to a solo queue plat 3 on Xbox. So I really like this guy, and he made a video today about what next gen consoles can do to help out esports in Rainbow Six Siege and what they should do. And I'm going to link the video in the description below. I highly recommend you watch that video before you watch my video about this. And he pointed out a couple things that I've spent 2,000 hours on console, and I can confirm are true. One is that there's way less hackers. I've only ever encountered one hacker on Siege in 2,000 hours. At least that was obvious. And, on the PC, I think I've only spent about 20 hours on it, and I've already run into a hacker using worse hacks than the hacker did on Xbox. So I can tell you, there's not a lot of hackers. It's really hard to do. He also talked about using the consoles to separate mouse and keyboard users and controller users. And I think that's a really good idea. I think that, there's definitely a separation between controllers and keyboards and mouse where, certain things are easier to do on them. I'm swapping right now to PC Siege. And, if you put up a keyboard against a controller, everyone agrees, man, the keyboard wins every time. Something that really kind of stood out to me was if you have one system where it can separate controllers and mouse and keyboard, if you run an esports event, you already have all those systems there. You can just have the controller pro league and the keyboard and mouse pro league going on at the same time. You already have all the equipment there. You don't need to buy more Xboxes or more controllers or more computers or, keyboards and stuff like that. You can just have all the equipment there and have bigger events. If a esports league for PC takes a week to get through the big tournament and the controller one takes a week, you just sign up for 2 weeks. You rent out the venue for 2 weeks instead of one, and everything's already there and set up, and it doesn't take long to set up. You just swap out players. It's more easier to run that controller esports league and a keyboard league. Another thing that I kind of have like a personal experiences with is finances. I was able to record at least 30 FPS gameplay and live stream 30 FPS and 720p on a $500 to $600 computer and a $500 Xbox. And just to put that into perspective, my computer is a $1,000 computer when I bought it. And it really lags when I throw like 2 smoke grenades and I live stream and record gameplay at the same time. I can't have a 60 FPS smooth experience on $1,000 on just PC parts recording Siege and live streaming Siege. But if you take $500 and buy a PC and $500 and buy an Xbox, and of course, all the peripherals and stuff, it works better. Honestly, it does. Now, if I had a $1,500 to $2,000 computer, it's different. But for that really low budget gaming kind of, me, I'm pretty tight on my budget. I definitely have a better experience with just $1,000 versus $1,000 towards a PC versus $1,000 towards a PC and an Xbox. It's a smoother experience, and I think that having a Xbox or a PlayStation, just a console that, is that standard $500, maybe even $600, and it's a viable esports machine, I think that's going to help the esports community grow as a whole. Because I know for me personally, I had to think about when I started pursuing esports about the financial costs, because I need to get a good computer to be competitive. And it sucks because I bought my Xbox back when I was like 14 or something. I bought my Xbox in like 2013, and it's $500 and it's served me for 7 years now, versus a PC you have to replace every 2 years. And I just think that if you have a machine like a console that, you can buy and it's going to last you 7 years and you're going to be able to do esports with it, I think that's going to bring a lot more people into the scene, and maybe even someone like a Bolo or a Pengu that the only bar to entry for them was the financial costs. I can imagine people where they, have $1,000 saved up or $2,000. They buy their gaming PC and they go, okay, I got 3 or 4 years to do this because I can't afford another PC. I definitely would appreciate if there was an esports league on console for just that reason alone, because I like saving money. Something else that I thought of is for the entire industry as a whole of esports, not just Rainbow Six or shooter games, the entire esports section, right? Because if you look up Rainbow Six Siege hackers, you find a lot more hackers than you do a professional athlete using steroids, right? And what I mean by that is if you look up football players who use steroids versus hackers in Rainbow Six Siege, you're going to get more results for hackers in Rainbow Six Siege. And I kind of thought about, because when I do freelance video editing, I have to look at someone's business model and say, okay, is this thing that you say is long-term work, is it going to last, right? Because someone could say, oh yeah, long-term work, but they only have $20 and they're not going to last, you know? If I was an investor in esports, and I saw all the videos of people hacking and cheating and ruining everyone's day, like people with steroids in sports, I mean, it just looks like everyone's cheating. And like, it's not a competitive environment. And if you're advertising a competitive environment, I don't want to invest in something where everyone's cheating, or to be good, you have to cheat. I mean, there was that one special case in CSGO where someone got banned by BattleEye for cheating. And honestly, I don't see people getting banned for cheating at esports events. But on a whole, seeing all these people hacking, all these people cheating, glitches alone you got to deal with. Now you got to deal with all these hackers. Like, if you put it on console, there's going to be way less cheating when it comes to the hacking side. People are still going to figure out how to make mouse and keyboards go against controllers, but the hacking side, you know, that's the easier thing to see is cheating, and there's going to be way less of that. And I think it's going to make esports look like a more sound investment for investors. So in GetFlank's video, his kind of main points was, if you kept a closed system of online console gameplay, you would have less cheaters, less cheating. And of course, you have to make the game have as many options as PC. He touched on that, But if you had the same exact game with FOV sliders and aspect ratios and all that, less cheaters, and you could separate mouse and keyboard to controllers so that, there's that line, that would make the console viable as an esports machine and the preferred machine. And what I want to add on to that is I think it would make it more accessible for the greater population, because we're not dropping as much money on equipment. It would make financial investment less of a thought and more, do I want to do esports? It would also make it look better, just the entire industry as a whole. It would look better to investors and look like more of a viable business model than just a bunch of computer nerds playing video games and people paying to watch them make money. And, it would make content creation easier, just because if you want to be a content creator, instead of paying $1,000 for a computer and having the game run at low quality 30 FPS and, recording it's a bear and all that, you can pay $500 for your console and, $600 or $700 for a PC and make your videos just fine, and they look just fine. So that's what I wanted to add on to GetFlank's video. I've never made a video like this before. If there's something I missed, please let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are about new consoles coming up. I think this is a hot topic, and I can see if either PlayStation or Xbox does all these moves, I think that would be kind of a foundational thing for esports as a whole, not just the Rainbow Six Siege community or the shooter games. I think it would be, for the entire industry, a good thing. So, I'm Pacific Casual Gamer. I suck just as bad as you do at video games, and I will see you guys in the next one.